ఇంటర్మీడియట్ విద్యా రంగంలో అగ్రగామి మన ఎన్ఎస్ఆర్ ఇంపల్స్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ ఇన్స్టిట్యూషన్. ఐఐటి, జేఈఈ అయినా, నీట్ అయినా తిరుగులేని విద్యా సంస్థ ఎన్ఎస్ఆర్ ఇంపల్స్.
Right. Good morning. Today's topic is 7th year group. Right. Let us see. Start with the elements. The elements of 7th year group are fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, and astatine. Astatine is a radioactive element with a half-life of around 7 to 8 hours. Right, 7 hours. Let us write 7 to 8 hours. So generally we don't study the chemistry of radioactive elements. Fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine together they are called as halogens. Together they are called as halogens. The meaning of halogens is sea salts or salt forming elements. Sea salt or salt forming element. Halogens are highly reactive. They are highly reactive elements. They are highly reactive elements. Why they are highly reactive? Based upon simple knowledge, they have 7 valence electrons. They are short of 1 valence electron. So they want to get this 1 valence electron to get nearest noble gas configuration. Hence they are found to be highly reactive. Because of this high reactivity, they are mostly found in combined state in nature. They mostly exist in combined state in nature. So they are found in combined state. So they always combine with some other element. For example, halides, salts, right? NaF, NaCl, NaBr, NaI, right? They mostly combine with other element and they exist in combined state in nature because of high reactivity. They are highly reactive because they are short of 1 electron to get nearest noble gas configuration. So let us study the electronic configurations. Right, starting with fluorine. The symbol of fluorine is F and atomic number is 9. So all general electronic configuration writing in terms of noble gas: helium 1s2, 2s2, 2p5. Next, chlorine, Cl 17. You have to add 8 electrons, 8 elements between these two. So here it is nearest noble gas neon 3s2, 3p5. Next, bromine, Phi S2, phi P5. to add 32, so there are 32 elements between them. 85 will get helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon 54, 4f4, 5d10, 6s2, 6p5. Right, so this is the outer electronic configuration which you can write it. Now, the valency electrons, if you see, the valence electrons means the electrons that are present in the last shell. So here the last energy level is second energy level, third energy level, fourth energy level, fifth energy level and sixth energy level. So as you can see, the outer electronic configuration is, now how many electrons are present? 5 plus 2, 7 electrons, 2s2, 2p5. Coming to here, it contains 7 electrons, 3s2, 3p5, 4s2, 4p5, 5s2, 5p5, 6s2, 6p5. So the general outer electronic configuration is ns2, np5. How many valency electrons they contain? They contain 7 valency electrons. Hence, generally we call them as 7th A group elements. Right. Based upon this, let us try to study the general properties, starting with atomic radii. So let us study the general properties. Atomic or ionic radius. So these are the elements arranged in a group. In a group, as you move from top to bottom, that is from fluorine to chlorine, chlorine to bromine, bromine to iodine, iodine to astatine. So generally we don't study the properties of astatine because it is a radioactive element. It is radioactive element. But anyway, the atomic and ionic radius in general down the group increases. Why it increases? Because as you move from top to bottom in a group, new energy level is added. Here the energy level is second energy level, here it is third energy level, here it is fourth energy level that is added, fifth energy level and sixth energy level. So as you move from top to bottom, a new energy level is added, hence the size of the atom keep on increases. So atomic and ionic radii increases down the group. But the question is, does it increase regularly? Right. Now if you see the covalent radii of fluorine, right, it is 64 picometers, chlorine 99 picometers, 114 picometers and 133 picometers. All these values, covalent radii, all these values are in picometers. So if you see, the difference between fluorine and chlorine is considerable. So if I calculate here, 9 minus 4, it is 5. 9 minus 6, it is 3. So 35 picometers. But when I come from chlorine to bromine, right, so it is 11499. So 14, you will get around 5, right, 9, 11, okay, 11, 25. Sorry, 10, I think you will get 15, right. So it will be 15 picometers. Now between these two, 133, 114, is it clear? Right. So 13, 9, here you will get 12, sorry, 2, 1, so approximately 19 picometers. See, generally the size, the increase in the size between two successive elements in a group should be more and more. But here, as you can see, the difference between, the size difference between fluorine and chlorine is more. But when I move from chlorine to bromine or from bromine to iodine, right, the size, although it is increasing, it is not increasing as much as expected. It is not increasing as much as expected. So what is the reason? The reason is due to poor shielding effect of 3d electrons, here 4d electrons, here 5d and 4f electrons. So due to introduction of 3d 4d electrons and f electrons in bromine iodine, the size do not increase as much as expected due to poor shielding effect. So due to poor shielding effect, of d and f electrons, the size difference is not increasing as much as expected, right? So although it is increasing, here also it is increasing, but it will not increase as much as expected. So in general, down the group, atomic and ionic radii increases from fluorine to astatine, increases down the group due to addition of new energy levels, but the size difference is not as much as expected due to poor shielding effect of d and f electrons. Next one, physical state. Halogens are, let us represent with a general letter X2. Halogens are discrete diatomic covalent molecules. Discrete diatomic covalent molecules which are non-polar in nature. What is the meaning of discrete diatomic covalent? So here halogens, two halogens, they are bonded by a single bond XX, like FF, Cl, Cl, Br, Br, II, right? So here one halogen gives one electron, another halogen gives another electron, so there is a sigma bond between two halogens. So they exist as diatomic X2. Discrete, between two molecules there is no bonding, so there is discontinuity, so they are discrete diatomic. It is a covalent bond because both are identical atom. These shared electrons are equally shared between them. These bonded electrons are equally shared between them because they have identical electronegativity. So the bond becomes covalent. Non-polar, since the bond is perfectly covalent, the bonded electrons are neither completely shifted to any one of them, they are equally shared. Therefore there is no partial charges on the halogens, hence the molecule is non-polar. Not only this X2 molecule, F2, Cl2, Br2 molecules, any homodiatomic molecule is covalent and non-polar because the bond is present between two identical atoms having same electronegativity. So there will be no partial charges on the halogens. Right. Once again, so halogens, they exist as discrete diatomic covalent molecules which are non-polar in nature. So between these two molecules, what kind of force exists? Since they are non-polar, so there cannot be any dipole-dipole interaction or ion-dipole interaction. Leftover is van der Waals forces of attraction. So what kind of forces exist between these molecules? Weak van der Waals forces. Weak van der Waals forces exist between, or weak van der Waals forces hold these molecules together. Now, how these van der Waals forces differ? Now, van der Waals forces, they depend upon surface area. They depend upon surface area. More the surface area, more will be the van der Waals force. Van der Waals force means attraction between two surfaces simply. So, the surface area depends upon size of atom. Size of the atom. As I move from fluorine to astatine or as I move from fluorine to iodine, the size of the atom increases. If the size of the atom increases, surface area also increases. If surface area increases, magnitude of van der Waals forces of attraction between the molecules also increases. So down the group, the van der Waals forces of attraction increases. That is why the physical state changes from gas to liquid, liquid to solid. Fluorine is a gas. Fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine. Fluorine is a gas. Chlorine is also a gas. Bromine is a liquid at room temperature. Iodine is a solid. So the physical state changes from gas to liquid, liquid to solid, because down the group the magnitude of van der Waals forces increases due to increase in the surface area. The surface area increases due to increase in the size of the atom. So this is how the physical state changes. So let us go for next, density. Let us go for density. Now coming to density, what is density? Density is nothing but atomic mass by atomic volume. So atomic density is nothing but atomic mass by atomic volume. As you move from top to bottom, mass increases as well as volume increases. But the increase in atomic mass is much higher than increase in atomic volume. Therefore, the net result is increase in density. So density increases. Density increases from top to bottom in the group. Top to bottom in the group. Density increases from top to bottom in the group. Right. Now, let us study melting point and boiling point. Basically, melting and boiling point depends upon bonding. Generally, melting point depends upon bonding. Bonding, what kind of bonding? It depends. Bonding means here how many valence electrons of an element or atom involved in bonding. More the number of valence electrons involved in bonding, stronger is the bonding between the atoms. Now here, if I take this discrete molecule, so the bonding takes place between two halogens, only two halogens. These two halogens, two different halogen molecules are held by van der Waals forces. Now there is no other kind of forces that exist between them because they are non-polar. So you cannot expect dipole-dipole interaction, you cannot expect ion-dipole interaction or any ionic attraction between them because they are non-polar. These molecules are held by weak van der Waals forces which increases down the group. So the same thing, the melting and boiling point depends because there is no extra valence electrons that participate in extra bonding. So melting and boiling point completely depends upon the van der Waals forces. Now, as you move from top to bottom, what happens? The magnitude of van der Waals forces increases. As the magnitude of van der Waals forces increases, then you have to spend more energy to overcome it. Therefore, melting and boiling point also increase from top to bottom. Increases from top to bottom due to increase in van der Waals forces of attraction. Next, ionization energy. First, what is ionization energy? The energy required to remove electron from the neutral atom in its gaseous state. So you have to apply energy to remove the most loosely held electron. How it is related to size? Ionization energy is inversely proportional to atomic size. Why? As atomic size increases, the distance between nucleus and valence electrons increases, therefore effective nuclear charge decreases, therefore the energy you have to spend to remove the last electron also decreases. Hence ionization energy is inversely proportional to atomic size. So using the same relation, let us try to guess what happens to ionization energy. Now as I move from top to bottom, that is from fluorine to iodine, atomic size increases. So atomic size increases, therefore the energy required to remove the most loosely bound electron decreases. That means ionization energy decreases. So ionization energy decreases from top to bottom in the group. Next, so let us go for electronegativity. What is electronegativity? It is the tendency of an element to pull the bonded pair of electrons towards it, right? Now, what kind of elements have higher electronegativity? If they easily can gain the electron to attain stability, then such elements are found to be more electronegative, right? So, what is the meaning of that? Here, if I take halogens, already they contain 7 valence electrons. Based upon octet rule, if these halogens, if they can gain one more extra electrons, then they get nearest noble gas configuration. Simply they will get stability. Hence, the halogens are highly electronegative because they are short of just one electron to get extra stability. So, coming back to this, halogens are highly electronegative element. In fact, fluorine is the most electronegative element of all the elements in the periodic table. On Pauling scale, its electronegativity is 4, right? So, generally halogens are highly electronegative elements. And what happens to this electronegativity as I move from fluorine to iodine? Now, as the size of the atom increases, electronegativity decreases because the effective nuclear charge decreases due to increase in the size. So, electronegativity, they are most electronegative elements, I am writing En. In fact, fluorine is the element that has high electronegativity. That is why it is called as superhalogen. And electronegativity decreases from top to bottom in the group due to increase in the size. So, with increase in the size, effective nuclear charge decreases. Therefore, ability to pull the electron, bonded electron towards it also decreases. So, electronegativity decreases from top to bottom, that is from fluorine to iodine. Right. Next, bond energy. There is one more point. Metallic and non-metallic nature, let us study. Right, metallic and non-metallic nature. First point, all halogens are mostly non-metals, right, because they are more electronegative elements. However, as you move from top to bottom, due to increase in the size, right, their ability to pull the bonded electrons also decreases. That is nothing but electronegativity decreases. That means non-metallic nature decreases or metallic nature increases. So, they are mostly non-metals, all halogens are non-metals, but the metallic nature increases down the group or non-metallic nature decreases down the group. Due to increase in the size again, right. For example, iodine can be easily converted into I plus, right? That means it has tendency to lose electron. For example, take sodium. Sodium can be readily converted into Na plus. It is the electropositivity. It is a measure of electropositivity. Here also iodine can be easily converted into I plus, indicating that it possesses some metallic nature, or simply down the group metallic nature increases or non-metallic nature decreases. Bond energy. First, what is bond energy? Energy required to break 1 mole of bond. Suppose if I take this as a bond, here consider 2 atoms. Energy required to break 1 mole of bonds, not 1 bond, 1 mole of bonds. 1 mole of bond means energy required to break Avogadro number of bonds. Avogadro number of bond means bonds in Avogadro number of molecules. Generally that is called bond energy. So here we are taking 1 molecule. Right. Already we have studied in chemical bonding that bond energy is inversely proportional to bond length. Bond energy is inversely proportional to bond length. What is bond length? Bond length is nothing but internuclear distance between the bonded atoms. Suppose if I consider this as a 2 atoms, right? So this is the nucleus, this is the nucleus. The distance between these two, the internuclear distance, we call it as bond length. It is the distance where attractive forces predominate over repulsive force, right? Now, if bond length is more, bond energy will be less. Bond length ఎక్కువగా ఉంటే bond energy తక్కువగా ఉంటుంది. So bond length is nothing but internuclear distance. This internuclear distance increases with increase in the size of the atom. So if I move from fluorine to say chlorine, bromine, iodine. So as I move from top to bottom, the size of the atom increases. So this is the atom iodine, this is atom iodine, right? This is the internuclear distance. So fluorine size is small, iodine size is large. As I move from fluorine to chlorine, chlorine to bromine, bromine to iodine, the size of the atom increases. As the size of the atom increases, internuclear distance increases. As internuclear distance increases, bond length increases. So based upon bond length, if bond length increases, bond energy decreases. If bond length increases, bond energy decreases. Therefore, based upon this observation, the expected bond energy order. So smaller the size of the atom, higher the bond energy. So expected bond energy order, F2 should be greater than Cl2 should be greater than Br2 should be greater than I2. The bond energy of fluorine is greater than bromine, greater than fluorine, greater than chlorine, greater than bromine, greater than iodine. This is expected. But the observed order, this is the observed bond energy order. So what if you compare, this is expected based upon bond length. Bond length is guessed based upon covalent radii or size of the atom. But what is observed? This is the observed bond energy order. So where you have problem? The problem is with fluorine. The problem is with fluorine. Why there is problem with fluorine? What is happening? Why the bond energy of fluorine is less than that is expected? In fact, it is less than that of chlorine, and it is also less than point. Remember the order. Now see the reason. Different persons have tried to explain, but the most accepted one is Coulson's explanation. The most accepted is Coulson's explanation. Now, how did he explain? First, fluorine atom is smaller atom. It is a smaller atom. Accepted, it's very small, right? The valency, the last energy level, right? N equal to 2, it means second energy level. Next, fluorine electronic configuration, if you see the valence electronic configuration 2s2 2p5, that means there are 7 electrons in second energy level. So if I take 2 fluorine atoms, let us say this one, right? There are 3 lone pairs, another fluorine atom, again there are 3 lone pairs, right? NS2 NP5, and there is one bonded pair. Because of smaller size of fluorine atom, the fluorine atoms are expected to come closer to each other. The distance between them is less because of smaller size. Thereby what happens? Now these electron pairs are forced to come closer to each other. They are accommodated closely to each other. These electron pairs are much closer to each other, which leads to greater lone pair repulsion due to close proximity, right? It leads to greater lone pair repulsion. So if I guess the bond length, if I calculate bond length based upon the covalent radii, the covalent radii of one fluorine atom is 64 picometers, another fluorine atom will be 64, so the expected bond length must be 128 picometer. Expected bond length. But if you calculate experimentally, the observed bond length is 143 picometers. The observed bond length is 143 picometers. That means the observed bond length is greater than expected bond length. What is the reason? The reason is the fluorine atoms are moved away from each other. They are moved away from each other to overcome this lone pair repulsion. Hence, the bond length is greater than that is expected. The bond length is, this is what observed, this is what expected. The bond length is greater than that is expected. So, there is an unusual increase in bond length. So, if there is an unusual increase in bond length, the bond energy is expected to decrease unusually. Hence, its bond energy is less than that of chlorine, and in fact it is also less than that of bromine. So it is placed after fluorine, right? Once again, fluorine atom is smaller atom. It has to accommodate 3 lone pairs around the small space. So when 2 fluorine atoms come closer to each other to form this bond, there is greater lone pair repulsion. To overcome this, the 2 fluorine atoms are moved away from each other, resulting in increase in bond length. This can be understood by comparing the expected bond length. Expected bond length is nothing but sum of covalent radii. The covalent radii of fluorine atom is 64. Another fluorine atom should be 64. So if I add these two, the expected minimum bond length should be around 128 picometers. But what is observed? It is 143. Why it is more? Because to accommodate, to overcome this, to minimize this lone pair repulsion, the 2 fluorine atoms are assumed to move away from each other. Hence, there is an unusual increase in the bond length. So, if there is an unusual increase in bond length, there should be unusual decrease in bond energy. Hence, the bond energy of fluorine is found to be less than that of chlorine as well as bromine. So, let us see another interesting physical parameter, that is electron affinity. First, what is electron affinity? We take a neutral atom, in its ground state we add an electron. So, generally when you add an electron to a neutral atom in the ground state, energy is released. That released energy we call it as electron gain enthalpy. Mostly it will be released. So, first electron gain enthalpy is negative. Now, how does it change in halogens? Now, what we expect is when you add electron, energy is released. If it readily accepts the electron compared to another element, more energy is released. Now, so it depends upon the size of the atom. So, when I move from top to bottom, from fluorine to iodine, the size of the atom increases. As the size of the atom increases, effective nuclear charge decreases. With the decrease in effective nuclear charge, the ability to pull the electron, to readily accept the electron decreases. Therefore, the electron affinity has to decrease from top to bottom. Therefore, the expected electron affinity order, based upon size is fluorine should be having higher electron affinity than chlorine, then bromine, then iodine. Fluorine greater than chlorine, chlorine greater than bromine, bromine greater than iodine. But observed electron affinity order, so if you compare these two, the observed order has a different order, and the problem is again with fluorine. Why fluorine has less electron affinity than chlorine? Why fluorine has less electron affinity than chlorine? So, what we are doing here? We are taking an atom, let us take the fluorine itself, right? Already fluorine has high electron density around small space, right? It contains 7 electrons. So, let us write one more electron here, 7 valence electron. 2s2, 2p5. I have drawn the Lewis dot structure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right. I don't know whether you can see it clearly or not. So, these 7 dots, red dots indicate 7 electrons. To this, we are adding an electron. Now, fluorine size is very small. Right, fluorine size is very small. Already it contains these 7 electrons in that small space. So, there is greater electron density. So, whenever you are adding electron to this small space, the electron that is to be added experience repulsion because the size of the fluorine is small. Because the size of the fluorine is small and there is greater electron density. So when this electron is added to fluorine, some energy is released. Out of that energy released, some part is consumed to overcome electronic repulsions that are already present in the fluorine. So some part of the total energy released is absorbed to overcome the electronic repulsion. Hence, the net energy released is less than that is expected. Now, is this problem is present in other elements? The answer is no. The reason is increased size. Yes, chlorine also possesses 7 valency electrons, but the size of chlorine is much bigger than fluorine. Therefore, there is sufficient space for these electrons to get accommodated, or the electronic repulsions are very less, or you can neglect it. Due to increased size, the electron density per unit volume is less. The electron density or the negative charge per unit volume is more. So, the electron that is to be added to fluorine experience electronic repulsion. To overcome that, some part of energy is absorbed. Hence, the net energy released is less than that is expected. But this is not found in other elements because of large size. Because of large size, the electrons are away from each other. The electron can be readily accommodated compared to the electron that is to be added to fluorine. Hence, the net energy released in the case of fluorine is less than that is expected, less than that of chlorine. So, which element has highest electron affinity? The answer is chlorine, not fluorine.